Well, you know, that's another huge point you make. People are already walking around with concealed everywhere. What is it so scary about it in the open? Under our common law, it was a weapon concealed that people freaked out about. Back when we were truly free, people freaked out over a hidden weapon, not one out in the open, because crooks, bad guys, highwaymen, freebooters carried it hidden. Free men, good guys, carried them in the open. Stay with us. This is amazing information with Chris. He's quite a hero to the Second Amendment. Chris is the gentleman who went out there with that AR-15 strapped to his back and, laid it out. In fact, there's a clip in the AP video. It's actually in one of the YouTube videos where a lady comes over and says, "I'm offended. That makes me uncomfortable. Your gun." Can you repeat here what you said to her and then elaborate on that? Because I think that really illustrates it beautifully.
Boy, I couldn't recall everything from memory, but she seemed to be like your average person that doesn't really understand firearm culture in America. And she was just afraid, and she was nice. We had a civil discussion. And
oh, come on. She was a dingbat.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't mean. She was, I wish people would knew a little more than, what she knows, but you can't blame her too much. She was perfectly polite and everything.
Well, I mean, she came over and said, "That makes me uncomfortable." And you said, "Well, there was a time when the color of my skin would make you uncomfortable." And I think that really shut her up.
Yeah, a little bit. I think people need to come to terms with some fears in life. If you have freedom in this country, there's going to be danger that goes along with it, and you got to just learn how to deal with that. You can't just become hysterical about it and freak out. And
yeah, that was the other great point you made, that we have hundreds of thousands of people die every year in car wrecks. We still drive cars. I mean, this is part of life. If you're just ninnying afraid of things all day, you're not going to have any life worth living. There is no safe life to live, and the government uses the name of safety to take all our freedoms, and we end up not even being safe. The cities that have the gun control, in fact, that one lady's like, "Well, you can't have a gun in D.C., and you're like, "Yeah, and they got the highest crime rate, lady."
Yeah. Yeah.
But listen, go ahead.
Oh, I had another discussion with a man who said, well, how would you, because I don't consider we got into a debate about libertarianism, and I told him I'm not a libertarian, and, if I had to put a label on myself, I guess it would be an anarchist. And he said, "Well, how would you protect yourself from like a terrorist attack, like a Timothy McVeigh type attack?" And I said, "Well, how did the government protect people from a Timothy McVeigh type attack?"
Yeah, they can't do it. In fact, they actually did it, so...
Yeah, they still did it. So we empower these government agents to protect us, and we trust that they're going to use that power to protect us, and then they fail all the time anyway. So it's just silly.
Well, that's what's so asinine, is there's a lot of great cops. They put their lives on the line. It's a tough job in many cases. But the average 911 call takes like 11 and a half minutes. In fact, guys, search engine that, average 911 call. But I think it changes every year. But last time I saw it, it was right under 12 minutes. Folks, if somebody's breaking in your house wanting to come kill you, you don't have 12 minutes, you don't have 30 seconds. And then the police argue, we don't have to protect you. It's not our job to protect you. And that's actually true under the common law. They are to respond after a crime has been committed to bring the people to justice before a jury of their peers. The police are hired by us to bring the criminal to us because we will sit in judgment as the sovereigns. Your comments on that, Chris?
I'm sorry. I kind of, something distracted me here. I didn't hear that last part.
I understand you got somebody talking to you. Look, specifically, you were pretty wound up when you were out there. I mean, not a lot, but compared to now, you were wound up. Relax, my friend. Tell us your bottom line. Was it empowering?
Yeah, it was empowering, and it was inspirational, too, just to realize, that I could still do this in America, that here's a country where you can go, you can go right up to the tyrants front door or wherever he is and, stand there with your weapon and not get stomped out. It was kind of inspirational.
Well, what did Frederick Douglass say? To paraphrase, he said, rights are not given, they're taken. And,
exactly.
And that's what this comes down to, is that if we act like a bunch of little cowards, we're going to be bent over a barrel, and the establishment's going to have their way with us. We must stand up to bullies, or we do get enslaved. And the poor people that want to be cowardly slaves, they think lying down to corruption keeps them safe. That actually brings the pain, brings the tyranny. I want to come back and take calls for you at 1-800-259-9231, specifically for our guests, 800-259-9231. And we're also going to get into some more stories of things we don't see on video of people that confronted him or things that happened. We'll be right back with our guest, Open Carry.